Hello and welcome to the Key to the County special on SportsNetUSA.net and 90.1 FM KBPK. On Friday, October the 16th, Fullerton College and Santa Ana College had representatives on hand at the Key to the County breakfast. They were looking forward in great anticipation to the following day's matchup, where the 93rd edition of the Key to the County game would be played between Fullerton College and Santa Ana. Saturday would mark a special occasion for Fullerton as they honored the 50th anniversary of the 1965 National Championship team, in which Fullerton College went 10-0 under the direction of Coach Hal Scherbeck and took the Junior Rose Bowl crown.
I'm a Fullerton College graduate, retired adjunct accounting instructor, lifelong fan. Once a Hornet, always a Hornet.
This is always a fun event, and we always look forward to being able to play Fullerton, and we're glad that our state association allows us to be able to play this game every year, because that was kind of scary at one time that they did some rescheduling and it looked like we might not have this every year, but we've been able to do that. We're glad. I think it's great for both colleges, and I think, as Ed said before, there are a lot of friends in this room, and we look forward to playing you guys tomorrow night.
Good morning. It's nice to be here with you and be part of the Key to the County breakfast and carry on this tradition. Thank you for making time out of your busy schedule to be here with us. Players from both teams, thank you for representing your teammates. When you step on the field Saturday night, you're making history. You're part of this tradition. You're part of the Key to the County game. It's a great time to be employed here at Fullerton College. We have tremendous leadership from the board, from the district, and on our campus. They truly get athletics. They value athletics. Not only do they give us words of encouragement, pat us on the back, but they're also allocating resources to us so we can do our job. We're in the process of hiring full-time faculty, renovating our facilities. Hopefully, when we play this home game again in 2017, we'll be playing the Key to the County game on our campus with a 5,000-seat stadium with lights, nice big press box. So those are some exciting things on this campus. And it comes down to our leadership. They get it. They understand it. They value athletics. I was really proud of our football team last Saturday night. We came off a tough loss versus Golden West. We were beat up mentally, physically. Our quarterback was dinged up. Our number 2 quarterback decided he didn't want to play anymore. I was actually a little worried. But Tim Burns rallied the troops, demanded more of himself, more of his coaches, and more of the players. And we came out and played a fabulous game against Riverside City College. They were ranked number 1 in the state. Came out early, set the tempo, punched them right in the mouth, and we came out with a big victory. A couple events that happened over the last about a year and a couple of months that really made me realize the significant history that's here on our campus. First, our legendary coach, Hal Scherbeck, passed away. I didn't know Hal that well. I've only met him a couple times. But Nick Viscardo was always telling me stories about Coach Scherbeck. Coach would always have little sticky notes, come see me. And Nick led, you and Jesperson always had the most come see me stickers. But Coach Scherbeck, what an amazing man. When he passed away, we got a call from his son, Eric Scherbeck. And Eric said, hey, I have some stuff here at my home that I think Fullerton College should have. So Phil Thurman and I, we jump in the school van, we head down to Temecula, and we open up the garage door, and there was boxes and boxes full of memorabilia, photographs, team pictures, plaques, trophies, old helmets, you name it, boxes full of stuff. So we loaded our van up and came home. As I was driving home, I was thinking, man, there's 30 years of Hornet football in this van. Felt like I was carrying the Ark of the Covenant with us on the way home. I said, we got to preserve this history. And thanks to Phil and his staff, they've went ahead and organized it, archived it, in the process of digitizing it so everybody can see it and see the type of history and tradition we have here on our campus. The second event just happened a month and a half ago. We had hundreds of former players and coaches and friends here on our campus to celebrate the life of Coach Scherbeck and dedicate a statue. It was a great event. We had players from the 60s, 70s, and 80s get up and tell their story about Fullerton College and what it meant to play here at this college. It was just, I walked away that night going, man, this is what college is all about. This is what athletics mean to a campus. So we have wonderful history between Santa Ana and us celebrating their centennial. This history, this tradition is just unbelievable. You know, something about tradition and history, you just can't buy it. You can't just go to Amazon.com and buy tradition and buy history. You have to earn it over a period of time of people working really hard. Blood, sweat, and tears of working hard to carry on this tradition. And we all have that responsibility to make sure this continues. And I'm excited about the game on Saturday. We're honoring, as Ed said, we're honoring a 1965 Junior Rose Bowl National Championship team. And that's going to be a great event. And I look forward to it. And again, thank you for being here. My biggest fear when we throw a party or throw an event, nobody's going to show up. So thank you for being here and supporting us. All right, go Hornets.
Thank you all for having us. We're very excited about this opportunity to play the 93rd Key of the County game. Just want to tell you a little bit about the team. You can see from the press clippings and stuff, we struggled a little bit this year, but we're really excited about the week of practice we've had, these great athletes that we have recruited here locally from the Orange County area that get to have an opportunity to earn a scholarship and go on to the next level. And that's just the base of our philosophy, and we're real excited. You guys have a great facility here. It's just a pleasure for us to be a part of this whole thing. And we're excited to get this key and take it home and hang it in our office and start it for the next year. I'm going to take an opportunity to talk about these two guys that came up. Go ahead and stand up, both of you. You stand up together so you're not embarrassed. These are two kids of ours, Elijah Herrera and Jeremy Maxwell. They come to us from Edison High School in Huntington Beach. These are true dons through their heart. They show up every day. They go to class. They work hard. They're leaders on and off the field. And they just give me an opportunity to show what our school is all about to the rest of the community. So we're very proud of these two. We're excited about the opportunity, working with Division I coaches that are coming through our office all the time, recruiting these players. And they really represent Santa Ana College and who we are as an institution. So thank you guys very much for being with us.
First of all, can we all thank Ed for being willing to do this every year? I appreciate that. No doubt. Okay, first of all, I know there used to be bets on this thing, and as we know, Santa Ana didn't have the breakfast last year because I finally found out why. They lost a lot of money to our department under the table betting. That's the rumor, right, Amy? You know, I always wonder why we're getting 46 hires. Now I think the district, there might have been some under-the-table betting there that we got part of the Santa Ana budget, and that's why we're able to hire all these people. And Santa Ana's going a little broke right now because of it. So I heard betting was suspended for this year. But, you know, things come around and go around, and as we know right now, it's been really good times for us. But if you look back at the history of this key, and hopefully we don't have to look much. There's a red side to it, believe it or not, you guys. Okay, there is. Okay, and I'm sure one day it goes in full circle. So just hopefully our administrators are smarter and don't bet the farm on it in those days. But it's been good times for us. I'm proud of our program. Proud of the kids we get from, as Jeff Jones would say, all over to get first downs. That's okay. You know, I got so many stories I walk out of here every day with. The majority of our kids are great kids. I mean, I got Loera, two Fullerton High School, South Hills, Yorba Linda, Louisiana, another kid that's going to walk in is from Maryland. And these stories of these kids are unbelievable. I mean, I have a kid from Maryland that, trust me, he would have been in those riots if he wasn't here. And he's telling me, Coach, thank God you allowed me to come out here, because if not, I'd be in the streets with all that stuff. And now that kid's got 30 scholarships, you know. I mean, so you just don't know what you get out there. And I know the community college is for the community, but, you know, our community nowadays is the United States, international, everything. That's just reality, whether we want to accept it or not. So when I have an opportunity when I have the chance to give a kid an opportunity, you know, I always believe they're kids. Give them an opportunity, and that's kind of my philosophy. And it's been successful for us. It's been successful on and off the field, and these guys have been a pleasure. Like I said, I got a red shirt, I got a gray shirt, I got a bounce back, I got a guy who's got 3 or 4 offers. I mean, we got a lot of guys here with great opportunities in their future. They're all great at school. They're great success stories, and I believe that, you know, they're what's the heart and soul of our football program. You know, I'm proud of this game. It's always a great game, and they don't even know it yet. These guys don't even know it yet. You guys don't know it yet. Last night, I live in Orange, and I go to, my wife says, go get pizza. So I go to What a Lot of Pizza because it's cheap, okay? I don't know if anybody eats What a Lot of Pizza. I should get some of this money from these bets, okay? So then I'll be getting like first class pizza instead of What a Lot of Pizza. Okay, so I walk in there and they're busy as can be, and I didn't call in ahead because I was driving. I said I'll just go there, and I see the owner, and I've seen him before, and I go there and he's running around with his head cut off, and he's yelling, this guy delivering, and all of a sudden he sees me and he sees my Fullerton College shirt. He's like, Coach, it's the Santa. He says it's the Key to the County week. He played at Santa Ana, okay, and every time I go in there, and especially this time, okay, and he's an older guy, he's probably about 30 years old now, and he owns that What a Lot of Pizza, and he had to retell me how Santa Ana beat us and blah, 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 blah. But it's something that goes on that you don't know in the future, and like I said, he completely ignored his work for about 8 minutes. I'm like, get my pizza ready, okay? And he stopped for about 8 minutes and just talked about that football game and how much it meant to him. And like I said, 30 minutes later, my pizza was ready. But it was just good to hear. It kind of resolved, you know, every time you wonder about what you're doing and the traditions and histories and all this type of stuff, it's really about my traditions and histories that I lived in my life. These guys are living these traditions and histories, and hopefully they'll carry it on for a long time to come. So, you know, I know we're getting 93 years. We're going to be at 100 years before we blink our eyes. I know some days we have rooms packed, and some days we've had 10 of us. But we need to keep this tradition alive. I want to thank the Orange County Register. I know they're not here, but man, the article was absolutely awesome in the Register, and I think we all need to, sports information directors, tell them how much we appreciate it, because that's really what it comes down to. It's about the students and things like that, and I appreciate being a part of all this. Tim Holt right here, Yorba Linda High School. He's got offers to UNLV, Iowa, bunch of places like that. He's a great football player. Came to us. Tim was a perfect example. Said, I don't want to play football anymore when we recruited him. All of a sudden, a year later, he goes, Coach, can I come out? I said, sure. And then he says, about 5 weeks in the season, he says, I'm pretty good, huh? I said, yeah, you're really good. You know what I'm saying? And so he kind of figured it out, but he was debating not to play football anymore. Now he's going to have an opportunity to have his whole college paid for and everything from there. Jose Bermejo, Jose right there. Jose comes to us from Catella, right, Jose? Yeah. And look at Jose. He's not big, okay? He's kind of short. But that guy has stuck it out and been there every day and busted his butt. And I tell kids, I get this all the time from all over. You can't play at Fullerton. They're so good. They're this, rah, rah, rah. I wish we were that good, okay? But we're good because Jose Bermejo's, okay? They never miss. They show up. They take care of business. And I've always told almost every kid that comes here, if you come here and work your butt off, you will have an opportunity. And he is a perfect example of that. And he's had some great successes for us. D'Angelo Ross. D'Angelo's a corner from South Hills up in Covina area. D'Angelo was at Fresno State. Wasn't getting an opportunity. Tried to make it through that way. He comes down here. I think I get a phone call from his dad one day, and next thing you know, everything starts to happen, and he's our starting corner. And you know, I hope he doesn't get his AA degree too quick, because I won't have him for next year. But you know, I mean, but he's a good student, things like that. So if he gets AA, he probably won't be with us next year. If he doesn't, then I'll get him back next year. But once again, great kid. Tim Roberts out of, where's Haydenville in? Louisiana? Where? It's called Hornville. See? Hornville. Hornville, Louisiana. The only bad thing about it, I do get a lot of kids from all over. They never bring me like their mom's cooking. Like you get Hornville, Louisiana cooking, I'll bet it's good. But Tim had nothing out of high school. Almost signed last year. Illinois was in my office, loves him. Idaho offered him, I think, last week, or told our coaches they were going to offer him. So good things are happening. Great student, qualifier out of high school. So he should be, hopefully gone here in January. Delton Crandall. Delton's a kid I've recruited for 2 years. Love him. He decides to gray shirt this year, right across the street, Fullerton High School. I think he's going to be a superstar in our program. Jordan Phillips, the one who came in late with the hat on. He knows to take hats off when he's in meetings, okay? See, we're teaching these kids one step at a time. So he's didn't comb his hair. But, I mean, he's as good as they come, right from Fullerton High School across the street, but he's one of those guys who struggled played for us one year, struggled a little bit academically, but now has turned the corner. I mean, you see his summer transcripts, he was getting all A's because football was important to him. And now he will go to college where he might say differently, but I guarantee if he did not have football, he would not transfer to a four-year university. And now he's going to have a ton of opportunities because he said, I got to play football, and all of a sudden he goes and gets straight A's in the summer, and now he's doing good in school. He better be, I got to check his grade checks, but now he's going to have opportunities to get his school paid for at the four-year university. So we are doing good things, and that's just a small list, but we'll have 30, 40 kids transfer at the end of the year, and we've had great successes. And that's my guys who showed up, and they're not from all over, okay.
Thanks, Tim. Jordan, that's okay. They do that too. You know how those things go. And the student body part of it. When I got kicked out of my first college I went to because I told one of the professors if they wanted to hear me give a speech, they could turn on the radio, where I was a disc jockey at the time, and I enjoyed my 3 years in the Marine Corps before I got to go back to regular life. But Santa Ana College is where it turned it around for me. And aim it at the players. Sometimes you think, who are these old guys telling you about friendships you're developing, whatever. Yesterday, I was over there thinking about just a minute ago, I was in contact with 17 guys that I played football with in 1961, 17. And one of them was a guy that's, in my mind, the greatest back I ever saw play in community college, a guy named Keith Lunow, that was drafted out of Santa Ana College by the 49ers. And unfortunately, back in those days, the coaches, when you had a little hitch to the giddy-up, they thought you were dogging it, and they had him continue doing some different routines, and he injured his back and was no longer able to play. And then the year before that, one of the top picks was by the Los Angeles Rams, a guy named Dwayne Allen, that should have been a superstar for a lot of reasons. He was not, and I won't get into him because it was because of the way things were at the time. But every time the Rams threw in football, he scored a touchdown, but yet he sat on the bench quite a bit. But he played for 6 years, and we were very tight until he passed away. So it's funny how things affect you, and the studying, which I don't think any of us really enjoy, but it pays out in the long run. But the friendships are the key, and I think you guys know what we're talking about. And the guys that played here back when, you know what I'm talking about on that. So it's been alluded to several times. Next year is the 100th anniversary of the first game between Santa Ana and Fullerton, and it was in 1916, and the score was an amazing one. I mean, it was just absolutely amazing, and to me, is indicative of the program. It was a scoreless tie. And it's very important to me and a lot of people that you continue what was the Turkey Day game. We love playing on Thanksgiving, but that was taken away for a lot of reasons. I think most of it they started, I think it's the administrators and leadership didn't want to work on Thanksgiving, but the players didn't mind it at all. And the ghosts of this game's past expect us to pass the torch and keep the spirit of this friendly rivalry alive. And as I mentioned earlier, and you've heard me say it before, that this is a very important athletic tradition. And please, those that have impact, not only now, but in the future, pass it along that this needs to continue. And I don't care what changes take place. You look at Santa Ana College and the student body changed quite a bit. And you look at Fullerton, the same thing. And you see changes that happen. And you have to embrace the changes, but you also have to continue these traditions that have been here for a long time. And I've seen too many schools drop those. And it has effect. Maybe we don't have the attendance at the football games we used to. And it's something that nowadays organizations can't get people to participate. But the bottom line is that this game needs to continue. Mike knows that as an athlete that was an All-American when he was community college. So it's amazingly important. So now, next year there's going to be a new chapter written, and you've heard the key to the county spoken about. The key is going to have a polished look with the scores and dates etched on the key surface. And for your information, I care about both teams greatly because I happen to be, I don't know why I was lucky enough to be, but I happen to be in the Hall of Fame of both athletic programs. So for meritorious service because I care about both schools. And Santa Ana College, I serve on the foundation, but I love both of these schools. And Howard Sherbeck is the one that really got me involved all those years ago, say through Eugene and through Tim. And it's a great school. We're lucky to have these. Have a great game tomorrow. And thank you for being here today.
So we're here at the Key to the County breakfast. I am alongside Santa Ana coach Adam Nyson, Elijah Herrera, and Jeremy Maxwell. Coach Nyson, 93rd playing of the Key to the County game. What's the impact on both programs?
For us, it's just real exciting to be a part of this. 93 years of playing football is a great endeavor for the game of football and how far it's come, and to have a rivalry like this in a community in Orange County here where we all grew up, that's just very important for us to be a part of it. And it's great for these young players to see this rivalry and see some of the old timers here that have been a part of it for many, many years and understand how important it is to them, the tradition of both of our schools, our football programs, the legendary players that came before them, and for them to be able to talk about this in 30, 40, 50 years.
Now, as players, does the rivalry inspire some extra effort in practice, or?
Yeah, it definitely does. We both played in it last year as freshmen, so we know what it's about and the level of energy you need to bring. And then during the week in practice, you definitely have to, be a little on edge and ready to go that much more because it's that important.
Yeah, the week of practice for Fullerton is always hyped. Everybody always wants to get better, and we just want to compete and try to win the key.
You guys talk about the key. How much does the key mean if you guys do hold it again tomorrow afternoon?
Yeah, it's just going to be great tomorrow to be able to lift that thing up in front of our fans and show a lot of our kids that live in this area. We have a couple of players that live right around the corner here. Yorba Linda High School actually played at. So just excited for them to get an opportunity to hold that thing and hang it in our office. So all of our student body, as they walk through, they can see, that we've put the effort out to beat a great program like Fullerton College and take back the key to the county.
Right now I'm with Jordan Phillips, Jose Bitamejo, Tim Holt, D'Angelo Ross, and Tim Roberts. Guys, going into the Key to the County game, what are the emotions that are going on beforehand? We'll start on this side.
Emotions, I wouldn't really say emotions, but we're ready. We had a good week of practice. We're prepared. So, yeah, we're real confident.
Yeah, like coming here to this breakfast, you hear all the older guys talking about the tradition, so we just want to keep it going.
Exactly. We can't lose that key. It means so much to the city and means so much to all these people here, so we definitely can't lose that key, and we're not going to lose that key, so we're going to get the job done.
I'm excited for being my first year actually playing this game.
Coach always appreciate us the whole week saying do your job, and that's what we're going to do tomorrow night and just do our job.
Now, you guys have had the Key to the County here at Fullerton for 8 straight years. Does that, guys, give you a sense of awareness knowing that Santa Ana wants it back a little bit more?
It's about to be 9 straight years.
Oh, there you go. So many pictures. So I'm here with Bill Dark, defensive back for the 1965 National Championship Hornets. Mr. Dark, how was Oh, okay. Bill, how was it playing for Coach Hal Scherbeck?
It was fantastic. It's almost indescribable. Words couldn't really do it justice, but myself and all of my friends that played on his teams, to a man, agree it was the best experience they've ever had as a young man. So, I mean, you can't say much more than that. It was great.
Now, I've been noticing that you're catching up with all your defensive backs along with you on that 65 team. What are the feelings that are going through your head when you see those guys for the first time in almost 25 years for some of them?
That's right. Many of them in the first time in 25 years, and some of them the first time in 50 years since the game. So this is really a tremendous opportunity for a lot of us to get together. I've only stayed in touch with just a handful of guys. You know, as we get older, life happens and we all go different ways. But these events over the years have provided an opportunity to stay in touch, and it is just a tremendous feeling of pride. It's a tremendous feeling of community. And it's a tremendous feeling of accomplishment for what we did. But more than that, it's more of a brotherly love, because in order to be a championship football team, you've got to give up everything for your teammates, and that's what we did. We were a bunch of small little scrapping guys that were in the Fullerton area community that came together as a national championship, and I think it's a great story.
You know, you talked about giving everything. We've heard a lot of former players say that they would give everything for Hal Scherbeck, run through a wall for him. Knowing that, unfortunately, he did pass on a couple of years ago, what were your thoughts when you did hear the news?
Well, I stayed in touch with Coach Scherbeck over the years. He had relocated from Montana down to Temecula when his health deteriorated, and I made several trips down there to stay in touch with him. So I was kind of in tune to what was happening, and it was a sad thing to kind of be in touch with. However, whenever myself or one of the other guys would join me, we'd go down. He was always so upbeat, just happy to see people, and his eyes lit up, and he had great. One thing that's fantastic about Coach Scherbeck and his staff, it's unbelievable. They can remember everybody's name. They remember everything. It blows your mind. And when we would go down there, all those memories would come rolling out. And even though he was feeling terrible, and you could tell he was hurting big time, he had a joy. And so that was. I knew he was going to go, but he was, I think, okay with it. You know, he had a great life, and he was able to connect with a lot of the guys at the end.
So they really emphasize family.
Oh, big time. Yeah, big time. Not only Coach Scherbeck, but his assistant coaches. He was a master at putting together a team of coaches who related to us. Our defensive backfield coach, Hal Fiola, he's sitting right over there. He's kind of an icon. He was inducted into the Junior College Hall of Fame as a coach. And once again, I will say that to a man that I played with, when we went on to a 4-year college, we all agreed that the best coaching staff we ever had was at Fullerton College. And we had guys that went to Miami, Alabama.
Thank you, sir.
You're welcome.
Been a pleasure. I am with former defensive back for the 1965 champions, Bill Dark. So I'm catching up with the athletic trainer for the 1965 team, the legendary Bill Chambers. Bill, seeing all these guys again after 50 years, what are you feeling?
It's awesome, and I still refer to them. Most of them are they're not as old as I am. They're still kids to me. And my wife always tells me, says, they're not kids anymore. I says, they'll always be kids to me. And these guys were the greatest. And it's amazing that 50 years ago, we were in the Junior Rose Bowl playing before 55,000 people. And that's what put Fullerton College on the map, not only in the state, but also nationally, which when we won we were the national champions. But that was really an awesome experience.
Now, we just talked with Bill Dark a couple moments ago. He said that you guys, what impressed him the most is that you remembered every name of almost every single player that has come through your program. What has allowed you guys to keep that sense of closeness?
Well, it's Hornet family. And and you've heard many times, once a Hornet, always a Hornet. And that's the way I feel now. I've been retired 18 years. I still love coming back and being a part of anything to do with Fullerton College. I love to be a part of it. But I have special nicknames for everybody. Just like I saw Bob Riccio up there. His nickname was Rocket. I called him the Rocket. And Billy Dark. I mean, he was a defensive backboard. And so those guys, they made an impact on my life. And without them, my life would have been kind of dull. I'd probably been washing dishes at McDonald's. But I remember I get to see some of them from time to time, but there are others that have lost contact with, which I wish that we could find out. Well, 2 All-Americans, Dick Koff, our quarterback, and Rich Leon, who was probably the best athlete that we ever had at Fullerton College, and he was an All-American wide receiver for us. And I would wish that we could find those 2 guys so they could come and be a part of this. But we had a great group. We had a lot of turnovers, but because of the grit of the Hornet, matter of fact, a lot of people don't remember, but the defensive name, our defensive team was really tough. They were known as the Termites. And so because they just hung in there, and they kind of saved us during the Rose Bowl game, because we did have a lot of turnovers, but we prevailed 20-15. We beat a pretty good Henderson JC team out of Texas.
Now, what were some of your responsibilities under Coach Scherbeck?
Well, obviously, I was in charge of all the health care, athletic training, and I took care of anybody that got hurt and rehabbed them and stuff like that. Also, Coach had me in charge of making the itineraries about where they were supposed to be when, and he gave that responsibility to me. But I also, as far as the safety of the players, basically I was there for the health care of our athletes, and not only for the football team, but also for all sports.
How have you seen the athletic trainer position, I guess I would say, evolve over the years?
Well, I was, from 1978 to 1982, I was president of the National Athletic Trainers Association, and Hal Scherbeck backed me 110% for that. He thought that was good for the program, it was good for me as an athletic trainer, and so it's come a long ways. Now in our National Association, we have over 40,000 people, of which probably 51% of them are female. And we had a number of excellent female certified athletic trainers like myself that worked with me, that worked football. Lisa Nelson, for one, just retired. Wendy Runley was another one. And they both contributed to our program, and they were right here on the football field, and they traveled with us most of the time in the football game.
Now, talking with some of the players, they always said that rivalry games make you want to be a bit more physical, try to lay it out a little bit more. How were some of the injuries coming out of, like, today, the Key to the County game?
Well, the thing of it is that there's a lot more injuries, but people don't realize that players nowadays are bigger, stronger, faster. The impact is a lot greater. And but our people were pretty well conditioned. Coach Scherbeck made sure that they were really very conditioned, and so we didn't have any more injuries than probably they have right now. I think because of all the media, is probably a little bit more aware of people getting hurt now.
So, talking to these former players that we have behind us, seeing them after 25 years, seeing that Fullerton College is honoring you guys, what are you feeling?
I get goosebumps just thinking about it. And I see some of that. We got Chris Smith, was one of our basketball players many years ago, and seeing some of those. Jimmy Fassel, former NFL coach. Jimmy was not a part of the 65 team, but he was 67, the national champion 67, and he's here supporting it. And it just gives me goosebumps. Now, some of them have been going to hometown buffet a little bit too much because I put on a little bit too much weight. But but I tell you what, you could give me 12 of those 1965 teams, members of the team, and we could beat just about anybody.
Now, you're talking about them going to hometown buffet a little bit too much. Was it under your responsibility to also give them food suggestions on what they should eat?
You bet. I set up all the pregame meals for them, and then even though we didn't have a pregame meal for the home games or whatever like that, I would talk to them about what they should eat and what they shouldn't eat. My theory as far as that was concerned was that, hey, if they can compete and eat cheeseburgers, fine. because they eat something that that's not good for them. They're going, they'll get rid of it and go from there. But I was in charge of setting up all the meals when we'd go on the road to play. I was in charge of making all the hotel reservations and stuff like that, and I made sure that they. Coach Sherbeck and I locked horns a couple of times on what they should eat and what they shouldn't eat. But we were able to come to a pretty good compromise. But that was part of my responsibility, and I love doing that because I think it helped the players.
Now, going into a game, like let's say, like you have tonight, 6 o'clock on a Saturday, would you take the weather conditions / field conditions into account beforehand?
Well, the thing of it is, they play here all the time at this particular field, so you don't have to really worry about that. But there are things you could like when we played Santa Ana. That's a big ball game. We play Santa Ana, we play Orange Coast. Those are big rivalry games, and so you get a little bit more intense. And so you just got to try to keep a level head, so that not level head. You got to keep everything in perspective because once the game starts, then it's up to the players to do what they have to do.
Now, earlier you mentioned 50,000 people who went to the Rose Bowl. What was it like to come out onto the field and see that many people there for a junior community college football game?
It was awesome. I mean, you go to Junior Rose Bowl, there were 55,000 people there, and the people in Fullerton had backed us and stuff like that. And there was a lot of blue and gold in the stands. There were a lot of the people from Henderson, JC, Texas. There were a lot of folks there. But we used to play our home games at Anaheim Stadium, and we would have anywhere from 15 to 20,000 people on a regular Saturday night. So we were used to playing before big crowds, and it didn't bother us. I mean, Coach Sherbeck, was able to keep everything in perspective as far as what, and it didn't bother our people. Our guys went out and played like crazy. We made some dumb mistakes, but you know what? At the end of the game, we got a win, and that was all the thing that mattered.
Well, thank you, sir. I hope you enjoy the rest of the evening. Have fun. I am with the head athletic trainer for the 1965 team, Bill Chambers. I'm now talking to Jerry Miller, quarterback for the Fullerton College Hornets. Jerry, seeing all these guys again, it's been 50 years since the 1965 team.
Yeah, it's just terrific to see some of these guys. And like I mentioned earlier, I haven't seen these guys in 50 years, and it's just a real thrill, and I'm looking forward to it. And I hope we have a good turnout tonight.
How has the game of football from a quarterbacking perspective changed since you were playing at Fullerton?
Well, some of the rules have changed where you can't hit the quarterback like you could 50 years ago. I think the equipment has also changed. I don't know if you've seen, but most of the quarterbacks now have these kidney cages that they wear.
Yeah.
And, of course, when we played back then, we were totally exposed to our kidneys. But other than that, I don't think it's changed too much. One thing that I like to see is that the quarterback is kind of the center figure now more than back then, and people throw more. And so, all quarterbacks like to do that.
Now, going into that Junior Rose Bowl in 1965, what was the feeling of the team as you guys were entering the stadium?
Oh, we thought we could do it. I mean, Coach Sherbeck had us pumped. Gave us a lot of confidence. We knew we had some great athletes. We had a good team, and defeat was just not an option. We thought that we were going to come out victorious, and we did.
Now, how did you guys scout Henderson College?
Well, we didn't. The players didn't scout them, but the coaches had people that scouted them. Then we also exchanged films with them, so we had some good films on them, and we watched those endlessly and we knew them pretty well. Of course, they probably did the same thing with us.
Oh, you said that you were a starter the season after the 1965
Yeah, I was the quarterback for us that year was Dick Huff, and I hope he's going to make it tonight. I haven't seen him in a long time, but I was his backup, and then the next year I was fortunate enough to start.
Now, talking about Dick Huff, what is the communication that goes between a backup and a starting quarterback?
Well, the backup just tries to help the starter as much as you can. I mean, if you see something that happens during the game, you tell them about it. If a safety is moving in on the run, if the cornerback is playing too close, or just something that you see in the defense, you tell him. So you really try to help the starter, and when next year when I was a starter, my backup did the same thing. So you try to stay in the game. and you really try to be a coach, and you try to help the starter, he is your teammate, and to do everything to win.
Now, how pumped were you guys to play Santa Ana for the second time?
Oh yeah, that was a good game, and we were really pumped. And I have to give it all to Coach Scherbeck. I mean, obviously we had good players, good athletes, but he was the one that really united us. And I mean, you would run through walls for the guy.
So, looking at the quarterbacking position, how it is today, what are some of the main differences in the formations?
Well, of course, back then there really was not a lot of I formation. That came in right at about that time, maybe a couple of years later. I can't recall. But the spread offense wasn't even invented yet. Only a few teams were using the shotgun, and now you look around, everybody uses a shotgun. And you know, the spread offenses are pretty widespread. So the game just continues to evolve. You know, it's really kind of fun to watch the different innovations that come along year after year.
How fun was it to be able to throw to Rich Leon?
You know, I've told this to everybody. Rich Leon is the greatest athlete that I've ever been able to play with and had the good fortune to play with. I'll just tell you a little story. You know, he could throw with each arm. He could kick with each foot. And he and I would warm up sometimes, and I would throw as hard as I could. You know, I could only throw with my right, and then he would burn me out with his right, and I would try to burn him out again with my right, and then he would just switch over to his left hand and burn me out with his left. I mean, he was just an amazing athlete. And again, I hope he shows up tonight. He was a great guy, a great competitor, and just a phenomenal athlete. You know, he was also a great golfer. He played basketball there. I think he led the team in scoring until he got ticked off and he quit. And he was also a great baseball player, and he went out for baseball and was one of the stars in baseball. But as I understand it, he got in an argument with the coach, and so he left that sport and went out for golf. Now, Scherbeck was the golf coach, and he always got along with Scherbeck, and I think he was an All-American golfer.
How much did the team gather together off the field?
Off the field? Well, not that much. I mean, we're all going to school, and you know, we got together every now and then, but I don't recall that we really got together as a team that much. You know, the guys would, 4 or 5 of us would get together from now and then, but you know, during the season we're concentrating on football, and we're concentrating on our studies, and you don't have a lot of time.
Concentrating on your studies, Coach Scherbeck, he emphasized making sure that you guys had good grades?
Oh yeah, absolutely. I mean, he would review our grades, especially for the underclassmen that are going to come back the next year. He wanted to make sure that we were eligible, and you know, he was on us all the time about going to class and keeping our studies up and keeping our grades up.
Well, thank you. I hope you enjoy the rest of the evening.
Yeah, I'm looking forward to it. I really am.
I am with Jerry Miller, former quarterback for the Fullerton College Hornets. So now I'm talking with Jim Fossil, former Fullerton College Hornet and NFL coach. Coach Fossil, coming back here, being invited to this 50th anniversary celebration. I heard you flew out. Is it because once a Hornet, always a Hornet?
I think it is, you know, and you know, we had such a tight-knit group of people. And when I was talking to guys there, you know, we were family. We were really family. I mean, a lot of you people use that, they say it, but we were family. And we were in the middle of a 47-game win streak. Hadn't been beaten in 5 years. And that draws you together. But the friendships that you'd never forget, and anything that happens with Fullerton, okay, I like to come back. I was there for graduation. I was there for Hal Scherbeck's remembrance. It's really part of my soul.
I saw that you were there at the dedication ceremony. What were you thinking when you saw that that statue going up at Hal Scherbeck Field?
No, it was something that needed to happen, okay? And, you know, when the family asked me to eulogize Coach Scherbeck, because I was close to him, and I knew the family quite well, and Hal and I shared a lot of things. He was my mentor as far as coaching. And so I was honored to do that. And when I saw the crowd of people, there was more than 600 people came in, It just showed how much Hal Scherbeck meant to the school and to the players.
How did his legacy impact you?
Well, I think I learned a lot. And one of the things I said is that in communicating with Hal after I left, and I was in coaching, started out coaching for him, then I was in college, then I was in the NFL, then I was a head coach in the NFL, is that I always try to figure out what he was about. And the one thing I came away with is the players don't care how much you know until they know how much you care. And there's a lot of coaches that don't come across as showing they care about the players. They want to sound like they're the smartest. Well, that wasn't Hal. Hal wanted you to know that he cared about you.
How did your experience at Fullerton springboard you towards the NFL?
Well, one of the things I said when I was talking about Hal at his remembrance is that 500, 600, 700 players came to play for Hal from high school. And the reason they went there, they didn't have a scholarship offer. And then all 500, 600, 700 guys got scholarship offers, me, from USC and UCLA and Nebraska and Washington and Miami and all these places. It was because he could develop it. And that's not easy to do. He had a great staff. And so I think, my memory of him is he was a tremendous developer of young men to move on in their life.
So he not only cared about you guys while you were at Fullerton, but he made sure that you were successful thereafter.
Oh, yeah, but he taught us lessons in life. I mean, my first semester there, I ended up being a starting quarterback after so many games. And all I did was I broke the finger in 2 places, and I started partying. I didn't go to class. I partied. And he pulled me in, and he was stern with me. He said, "You're not going anywhere if you don't start attending class and doing better than you're capable of doing." And that really set me back, and because all I was thinking about was football. But he put my life in order. So he was a guy that you knew he cared about you as a football player, as a student, as a person.
Now, I've heard some former players say that they were scared of getting that sticky note, "Please come see me." Was that one of those instances?
No, he grabbed me. He didn't wait for that. And he said, "I'm calling your dad." Okay, and oh, geez, because he knew my dad real well, because my dad was at Anaheim High School. And my dad really helped him recruit a lot of Anaheim players. But he said, "I'm going to call your dad." And he did. And then basically, between my father and him, I was on restriction. And that summer, I had to repeat all those classes, and I didn't have a lot of fun. I worked and went to class. That was it.
Now, you're at the Key to the County game right now. How different has the rivalry developed over the time since you played at Fullerton?
Well, yeah, it's hard to be able to follow it, because for about 30 years or more, I was busy as all giddy up during this type of season, I mean, I was up to my ear with work. So I would try to grab it, but I had my own coaching thing that I had to do, and especially when you're head coach in New York, I mean, there's nothing in your life going on other than doing that. And but when kind of things slowed down for me, then I got back involved and really followed them, and I did make some trips out when I could make it out.
Now, you did take the Giants to the Super Bowl. What were the emotions going into the Super Bowl, seeing that stadium packed?
It's amazing. It's once in a lifetime. If you took a poll on all the players and all the coaches that were able to get to the Super Bowl and participate, 10%. You don't. I talk to so many people who say, "I've never been to the Super Bowl." In fact, when we won the NFC Championship game, and I talked to the team a couple days later, I said, "All right, I want everybody in this room that's been to the Super Bowl to stand up." And I sat down because I hadn't been there. I had 1 coach and 3 players.
Really?
Out of a whole room. Yeah, no, people don't realize.
Yeah.
You don't make it very often. And so it was quite an honor. And I remember after we won, we beat Minnesota Vikings for the NFC Championship game. I went in and I spoke to the team for a little bit. Then I did the press conference, which was a half hour. And I went straight to the locker room, picked up the phone, called Hal, said, Hal, you're coming to the Super Bowl. Fun.
How much of an impact did Michael Strahan have on that defensive line?
Oh, a lot. Michael was great, man. He was awesome. He was a team leader, great player. You know, and he had my back. I mean, we had a great relationship. You know, I said, don't let anything go down that I don't know about. If something's going down I got to deal with it, let me know. You can handle it, but let me know.
Final comments on Fullerton College?
Great place, great memories. I would ask this. There were 600 people there for his memorial service. How many times they fill that auditorium? How many times? How many times they're talking about some person and you get 600 basically alumni coming back? Doesn't happen. And that's what Hal Scherbeck meant to Fullerton College.
Thank you, sir. Enjoy the game. Enjoy the rest of your evening and reconvening with all the teammates that you've seen from over the years.
All right, thank you. Great interview.
Thank you. I am with former Fullerton College Hornet and NFL head coach Jim Fossil. So now I'm talking to Marv Owens, former Fullerton College Hornet football player and Hall of Fame inductee.
All right.
Mr. Owens,
yes.
What does it feel like to be back here at a Fullerton College game?
I'm excited to be here, and I haven't been involved with the athletic program here, but just to see the athletes and also the alumni nation that we have here. I mean, there are guys I idolized, you know, out of high school, I can say junior high, that are here. And it's the coolest thing to see.
Did you attend Hornet games while you were in high school?
Yes. But at that time, the only field they played on was at my high school, Fullerton High School. Okay, they played all their games there. We got to get in free, which is the best part. And the year they won the national championship, the 65 team, they played there. That was their home field.
Really?
Yes, yeah. So it's an exciting time.
So they played right there at Fullerton Union District Stadium.
Yes, they did.
Wow.
Yes, they did.
So are you catching up with a lot of former teammates and players?
These are my stars. They are. They're my stars.
Who were some of the players that you idolized?
The quarterback, Dick Huff, receiver, Rich Leon. Let's see. Wow, there's a host of others. I mean, Clem Crum, as he was a running back. On defensive side, I would say Billy Vasquez, Bill Dark, Boogie Corrillo. I mean, wow, I can go on and on. Yeah, those are guys I knew as a elementary school, junior high, and high school, and they grew up with you, and all of a sudden here they are at Fullerton Community College, and and that's the biggest game as far as at that time. You know, there weren't the different high schools, there weren't the different community colleges, and these guys, they're rock stars. Mm-hmm.
Now, what was your role in Coach Scherbeck's offense?
Well, let me put it this way. I was very athletic. Just to say that. My first year there, I was a running back and flanker. My first year there. And Coach Scherbeck and Marv Sampson told me after the season, okay, now you're going to play quarterback for us. Okay, which isn't done. You don't take somebody from being a running back or a wide receiver. Now we're going to make you a quarterback. So I had to work and work and work. And of course, the two coaches, they were right on me, watching me the whole time. And everything after that turned out great. I loved it. And a great coach to play for. He was the best.
How did he impact you on a personal level?
Oh, I was like a son to him. You know, and he was like a father to me. We would talk, not only about sports, about life. And what I was about to see going to college. If I ever got into pros, this is what you're going to see. So he taught me a lot of things about life other than sports, which is very nice of him.
How did your experience at Fullerton College help you going forward?
Well, going forward, I had a lot of opportunities at that time. Not only in football, I also played baseball. And I only had one season there, and a very good season. I wound up being drafted in the top draft choice for the Oakland A's. Yes, I was a good athlete, you know. But I remember those times, and if I was to go back and think it through again, I would have signed a baseball contract.
Really?
Yes, I would have done that, and it was a fun sport. You know, it was an easy sport for me. And while I was at San Diego State, when I was done with football, I went out for baseball. I played at a different level, you know, than the other guys, and I only missed maybe 2.5 seasons. And it was like I just picked up from when I left Fullerton College. And the coach there, Coach Dietz, I saw him a couple of years later. He said, I wish you would have stayed. I mean, you could be the greatest hitter come out of San Diego State. And I was just, oh, yeah? He shocked me. He said, yeah. He said, you could really hit that ball. And so, I wish I would have stayed with it. Yeah.
So which is more difficult to execute, hitting an 0-2 curveball or throwing a pass right through the seam?
I would say throwing a pass right through the seam, because you have players coming from different angles that see the ball in the air, you know, and they're trying to knock it down, swat it down, whatever, but it still gets through, you know. But baseball, like I said, it was easy for me. Getting the coaching from Coach Scoba taught me how to hit. Okay, and right along my brother Ted, who also played here, and I learned how to hit that curveball to the opposite field, and I got on base a lot of times.
So you just went with it. If it was outside, just go with it.
Go with it and hit in right field. And a lot of kids don't know how to do that because they don't teach it. Now remember, I did not have a special batting coach. Only had my brother. Okay, that's all I had. And the same with football. I didn't go to football camps, didn't have a quarterback coach, or I also punted, and I didn't have a punting coach. I place kicked, did not have a place kick coach because I can do it, and I taught myself how to do that. You know, so I miss those times. I really do.
You talk about being under Coach Scoba. What was the contrast between Coach Scoba and Sherbeck?
They were both great coaches, and I know they talk to each other. You don't see that, you know, as a coaching program goes through. Now, my first year at Fullerton, after football, I wanted to play basketball just like in high school. Football, basketball, baseball, you know, that's the procession. And so I was in the gym playing basketball. And day 2 rolls around, I'm still in the gym, and Coach Scoba is looking for me. And so when he found me, I'm on the basketball court, going through drills. He goes, Marv, it's the loudest, it was just echoing through the gym. Get your butt over here. And he grabs me by the jersey, drags me outside. You get a glove and you get on that baseball field. And the first 2 days of my practice on the baseball field, I am in high top tennis shoes, basketball gym, and a basketball shirt, and a hat, and those are the good times, because the guys on the team that were trying to make it, they're all looking at me. Well, who is this guy? Who is this guy? And a few of the guys that I knew from playing baseball with him in high school or competed against him. Well, don't you know that's Marv Owens? They still didn't know because, but it was a lot of fun. and Coach Scoba, which I knew from the Fullerton Park and Recreation, because he was a park, I think, leader at of my park, which is Maple School, and he'd come over and help us out and teach us games, and that's where I would say I met a lot of the coaches at Fullerton Community College. Marv Sampson, I think, who else? There was some, there's two others, that come over and help us out as kids, teach us skills, and it was a lot of fun. Yeah.
Well, thank you. Have fun watching the rest of the game. Go
thank
Hornets.
you. Yes,
and
always.
enjoy reconvening with the rest of your teammates.
Thank you very much. And I like to say this, once a Hornet, always a Hornet.
In the 93rd edition of the Key to the County game, Fullerton College would end up prevailing over Santa Ana College by a final score of 20-14. Santa Ana started the game off real hot, but Fullerton College stood strong, and their defense came away with the victory. So once again, the final score of the 93rd edition of the Key to the County game was 20-14. Fullerton College takes it over Santa Ana.